And now bringing you that hard, hitting fight analysis, submitting you into paralysis. Josh Thompson head kicking leg to dome, and Big John McCarthy saying, let's get it on.
Well, hello, it is time for the Weighing In Podcast. We are now live, and I am finally home. Thank God. I don't have to do this from a damn hotel room. 18 states later, it is back where I belong, and I'm ready to go with all the new news going on. And you got this big old sale. Well, not a sale. It's going to be a sale because someone's going to own CBS after this one. $7 billion. UFC. Ah, dude, I love it. $7 billion is what the UFC, 7.7. I'm leaving out $700 million. What a freaking huge, just fuck, I don't even know what to call it. So, I mean, what a accomplishment by the UFC. But my man, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Been out dealing salt all day. As you guys can see, I'm a salt dealer. Okay. I'm been dealing my element out there. So if you guys use that link down below in the descriptions, they'll send you a bonus package for every single purchase. That's compliments of the Weighing In Podcast. So hope you guys enjoy that. And look, we have a lot, like you were just saying, we got a lot to talk about. It's been blowing up all day yesterday. Even, just there was rumblings about a week ago that they were not really talking with Netflix anymore. And all I heard was that they just weren't really talking to Netflix anymore. Something got in the way. Didn't know what it was. Didn't know about the CBS.
You know now.
Yeah, you know now. But John, let's be honest. This has all taken a huge turn. Like from when Bellator was with CBS Showtime, there's someone at the helm now that was not part of all that in the beginning. You got Skydance that moved in, Skydance Media that moved in, and they've kind of, and everyone knows who Larry Ellis is, right? Is it Ellison? Yeah. Anyways, Ellison. You got Ellison, you got Larry Ellison in there, and then but you have his son who owns Skydance Media. Yeah. And so what you have is a great job trying to rekindle some sort of a sports or activity on his platform or on this platform.
After the people that he took over from said, we don't want any live sports.
Yeah. Look, I said this already on another show I did on my Bad Takes show on my podcast there, but it came down to, John, is that I feel like they had this. The people before, they had this opportunity. I'm going to go way back, which we call pretty much not just us. A lot of people call the glory days or the golden era of MMA, which I felt like was the Strikeforce dream, kind of a little bit of that pride, kind of, UFC era. In those years, there was so many great fights. So many great fighters, and the promotions were all kind of thriving in their own way, and we were always wondering what would happen if the fighters came here and came there. And then you had moments where they did kind of overlap and some fighters left and came, but the purchase of Strikeforce really took the UFC to the next level. It really kind of catapulted them in with a lot of, look, they were already headed that way. They were already the number one promotion. They were already, they were spreading their wings out there across the world. They were already there, but obviously adding guys like DC and Rockhold and other, and Tyron Woodley and Nate Marquardt and Robbie Lawler. Guys that were just stars, they became stars. They added some of the best fighters in the world. This is the funny part is Strikeforce was owned by it was owned a little bit or had an opportunity to own Showtime.
Showtime
was owned by Silicon Valley Entertainment.
Yes.
Showtime had the opportunity to buy it instead of selling it to the UFC, and they balked. They said, nah, we're good. Like, we're going to go ahead and let it go. They let it go. And then shortly after, the UFC was on Spike TV and decided that, hey, like, this is not what we want to do. It's something along those lines. And basically, UFC.
They wanted to move to a bigger platform, and that's understandable.
That's fair. It's worked out for them. Look where they're at.
Fuck yeah.
So then they left, and then that kind of pissed off Spike TV, which is Paramount, then. And then basically they turned around and they decided to they basically started Bellator. Or they got in Bellator. Yeah, but they got into business with Bellator. And then shortly after they bought Bellator when Bjorn Remney kind of pissed them off. So they've had this opportunity twice now to have a promotion and have them on CBS, have them on Paramount, and have them do all these things. And they never capitalized. Now there's been a changing at the top of the regime, and Larry's son David is now running this thing, or kind of head. I said, what is it? figureheading this situation. And he thought this was a great investment. I think it is a great investment.
I think he's right.
I think he's absolutely right. Like I read somewhere where they need to get 6 million new subscribers on Paramount, which is extremely doable now that you have the UFC on there. I think it's very doable, John. I think it's very doable.
It's not they have to get 6 million new subscribers. What they have to do is get even subscribers that they have now to pay the additional price that's going to be put onto it to watch the UFC. So you can have those plus new ones coming in. So, I mean, it's as you're saying, is it doable? Sure. It's doable, but they're going to have to work their asses off to do it. But that's why you take these chances.
What do you mean by, you've lost me. What do you mean that they're going to have to get more? I already know they got to get the subscribers. What else are they going to do? They're keeping everything as where it's at right now, is from what I understand.
You have subscribers already to Paramount. Right? They're going to be on Paramount. They're going to be on CBS main, CBS as far as their main channel. They're also going to possibly have shows on CBS Sports. But Paramount is a pay platform already, and they have subscribers who have paid for Paramount. The price might go up if you're going to be able to see the UFC. They're going to have to keep those subscribers.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to slap them with some big,
not a huge thing. No.
Yeah. No. I don't think they're going to slap them. And I think if you're going to slap them up a little bit more with an extra charge, an extra $2.99, whatever it is they're paying.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly what the number. I've read 3 or 4 different numbers now. I mean, I heard it was $4.99. Then I heard it was $9.99. Then I heard it was $12.99. I mean, I've heard everything. I don't have Paramount now, but I'm obviously going to get it now because we got to watch the fights. But I will say this.
Luckily, I'm one of those subscribers already, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I'm just laughing because I saw this meme that basically said all the crack stream and Russian streams and all that. They're probably looking at them like an ex-girlfriend now. They're like, damn, they're all gone. They're like, you watch them pass by. You watch all the people that used to use those crack streams and all the other ones, right? Like they're gone now. Those guys are gone. You just lost millions of people that use your platform.
That's part of the reason that this whole thing came about, though, too. That was a big part.
Well, I mean, John, let's be honest. It's not a dead model unless you have a really great product. But I just don't think it's not the model that it originally was. When it was killing it for boxing, it was killing it for MMA. Like everyone was making money. This was one thing that I saw. A friend of mine posted this, said UFC is receiving $25.5 million per event. Says in only broadcasting revenue. So that's only in broadcasting revenue for the next 7 years. 25% labor rate would be allocated, around 6.3 million to fighters per card. So that kind of gives them about 6.3 million per card. And that's not counting any of the other things, like what they make at the gate, what the merchandise purchases when they sell stuff, and sponsorships come in. Yeah. So whatever business deal they're already getting for the broadcasting revenue, $25.5 million per event. And so that pretty much allocates, when you cut everything else with the labor rates and everything else, it leaves about 6.3 million for the fighters. That just for the fighters. That's not counting. That's great. That's good money.
That's good money.
I mean, you're not getting even the gate. The gates make what now? About 21 to 22 million. It's kind of anywhere between, say, 18, 16, somewhere in there, all the way up to 22 million, I think is the highest, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Well, the thing that you've seen fighters come out saying it, and a lot of fans are asking questions about, but what happens? I know that they get pay-per-view points. What's going to happen with that? And it's like, are they going to get pay-per-view? No, they're not on pay-per-view. But similar to what has happened in the past, although the UFC doesn't come out and say it, they have compensated fighters that have gone on to, we'll say, when Fox first came out and they did Fox. Trust me, the fighters that were in the main event, they got compensated. There was no pay-per-view, but they definitely got compensated by the company for the loss of that pay-per-view. So do I think that the UFC is going to do the fighters right in this? Yeah, they're going to take care of the fighters. The ones that are bringing, putting butts in seats and bringing the eyeballs, they're going to make a lot of money. This
is huge, man. I mean, I've been reading online a ton about all the negative shit. I'm like, this is such a big deal. And let's be honest, CBS and Paramount was the last place I thought they were going to go.
Oh my God.
I didn't have that in my.
No.
I didn't have it anywhere on my.
Wasn't
radar.
anywhere in my atmosphere.
No, nothing.
I thought it was gonna be Netflix. I really did.
Yeah.
Plus,
I honestly,
plus a couple others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to kind of spread it. I thought they'd keep some of the prelims maybe or Dana White Contender Series on ESPN, which
Well,
is not included in this.
I was going to say they still have the Dana White Contender Series that can go anywhere.
Yep.
They still have Tough.
Yep.
That can go anywhere. They now have the UFC BJJ that they can put places. There's other stuff that they can put out there.
Yeah, they've got plenty of content to put. I also thought this was a pretty slick move. What they did was it had everyone thinking that they were going to go to ESPN because the WWE now is on ESPN, right, Dave?
Yep.
No, WWE's. Oh, they're moving there. Yeah.
2026.
Yeah, so they're moving there, and so I thought, well, then that just is setting right up for the UFC to step right in. But then I started realizing, like, man, how much money are they paying the WWE?
Yeah.
And then you turn around and you go, okay, well, is it going to be worth generating? Is it going to generate enough money for you to have both of them on there? And to keep moving forward. That's the thing without crushing your system. So then you go basically with them, the UFC, and you go, where are you going to go?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? That's when I started hearing, when I saw WWE sign, that's when I started hearing that they were kind of done with ESPN and Netflix had kind of been out of the loop, but I didn't know anywhere else they were going to go. I was thinking Amazon Prime.
Well, you heard what Netflix's big complaint was. They didn't want the Apex shows.
Yeah.
They did not want any of those. And that was a big breaking up of the whole thing was, they've talked about, making the Apex, I've heard anywhere between 2,000 to 10,000. So it could be anywhere, but increasing and making a stadium out of it. They're going to do it. Hunter Campbell's going to be a guy. He's a kind of guy. He'll make that happen. But they didn't want those shows. Now those have been actually some really good shows. It's just that the atmosphere is not there, and what you're seeing on the camera doesn't look near as good as when you have that arena that is packed with people and they're going crazy.
Yeah, I heard it's going to be 5,000 to 12,000. They haven't quite figured out the.
Yeah, you heard 5 to 12. I heard anywhere between 2 to 10 is what I was told, and now it's 5 to 12. Okay.
Yeah, I heard somewhere in between 5 and 12. I mean, it'll be interesting. They own the building. I heard they own the property, so they can do whatever the hell they want there, which is great. John, I think there's a lot of positives to take away from this. Gives the fighters a lot more exposure, which means that they have a lot more opportunities to make money outside of the cage. And that's one of the most difficult things to do right now because you can't market any of your stuff inside the cage. But if more people see you and you become more of a familiar face, then you can make more money in sponsorship outside of the cage. Whether it's with gym businesses, whether it's with, car companies or whatever it is, apparel, colognes, it doesn't matter. Making yourself more available, making yourself more available to the public for them to start to follow you and become a fan of you, then that gives you an opportunity to make more money.
Yeah, whether Dana said that they're going to do 4 shows on CBS, in the first year. That's big. They did the whole thing with ABC, but that was kind of a mix with ABC and ESPN because you could see it on either broadcast. But the whole thing going to CBS, that's going to be a big thing for him. But he also did say, but this doesn't mean that the pay-per-view model is completely gone. That's like, oh, we want more money.
You want to hop into that? I've got.
What is that?
Well, so here, let me just bring it up for the viewers. Dana White said. So first of all, this guy, Mark Shapiro, TKO, CEO, the pay-per-view model is a thing of the past. What's on pay-per-view? What's on pay-per-view anymore? Boxing, movies on DirecTV. It's an outdated, antiquated model. So it was paramount to us. Forgive the pun, where it's one-stop shop, and especially for your younger fans in flyover states, when they find out, wait, if I just sign up for $12.99 a month, I'm going to automatically get UFC's numbered fights and the rest of the portfolio. That's a message we want to amplify. But then Dana comes out separately and says, boom, a fight will pop up that I never saw coming. A star will pop up out of somewhere. Anything is possible, and you could do a one-off pay-per-view. I'm going to be on pay-per-view this Saturday. Pay-per-view is not dead.
Yeah, I think there's things that you possibly are going to have access to. Like you're going to put, if you have the CBS show, you're going to probably have that on for the White House show. Sorry, you're going to probably have that on CBS. There will be events though where they'll probably try to knock it out of the park. They may try to match up all these guys that are, the number, the 2 title fights possibly, and then like number 2 versus number 3, number 3 versus number 4, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like there might be a card that they can slap together. Be like, hey, we're going to charge $100 a pay-per-view for this one. And, they're not going to put that on CBS. And look, I don't have a problem with that. As much as like, I don't have a problem with that. Like I'm a huge fan of this sport. John, I know you are, shit. We even got Podcast Dave watching this fucking sport all the time with days off. That's how much we started to love this sport after all this time of, giving my blood, sweat, and tears to it. You all the traveling all around the world, and Podcast Dave listened to us for almost 10 years now. Like he's been suffering. His
Poor bastard.
Probably poor bastard. But let's be honest. This move is a fantastic move. I'm excited for it. I know there's tons of media going, well, what about the fighters and this and that? Look, it's up to the fighters. Fighters. This is an opportunity. If the fighters were ever going to do something, this is the time to say, well, we can sit this one out. Like we deserve we see that the numbers are 7.7 billion. And I'm not trying to be salty, but if the fighters were ever going to do it, knowing that they're getting paid 7.7 billion, 1.1 or whatever billion per year for this at $25.5 million per show, that should tell you something. That's not counting the gate. That's not counting anything else. And you guys should know that there's more money available for you guys to make. Now, I mean, we can sit here and say that
that's up to the managers to get it.
It is. It absolutely is. Or it's up to the fighters to say, well, we can actually sit this one out until you guys decide to pay us, which none of them will, because the top are like, I'm not going to piss them off. And I'm like,
no freaking way.
I understand that. And I've said this for the longest time. It's going to have to take the champions to do it. And the champions at the moment, when you're the champion, that's the least likeliness of you guys doing it. They will not do it when they are the champion. The last thing they want to do is
their moment to make money.
Yeah. And they don't want to piss the UFC off at that moment. So I understand, like we've had this discussion time and time again. I don't want to, we've beaten it with a dead horse with a stick kind of bullshit. But the bottom line is this is their opportunity to do it if they were ever going to do it. There's money now. You know what the numbers are. It will not happen. But I was looking at something. I think Luke Thomas is like, I don't even talk about it anymore. Fighters don't care, so I don't care. And just moved on. And that's kind of the smart play in this situation.
I was going to say, if you're going to be honest about it, that's the right way to look at it, because why should I care if you guys are not even close to thinking about it?
Yeah. And one of the deals was Paramount and CBS allowed him to go ahead and move out to do like a separate pay-per-view, 1 or 2 a year, whatever it is. That was part of their agreement from what I understand. It also didn't include, like you said, Dana White Contender Series.
There's a lot out there.
It didn't include slap. It didn't include anything else. So they're out here winning. And I can't say anything else other than great job by them on locking the deal.
Congratulations.
Because a lot of people, we were all speculating Netflix. We were all speculating possibly Prime, Amazon Prime. We were, saying that portion of it would stay with ESPN and shit. None of us knew shit. Like they kept this thing pretty locked down,
which they do.
They did a great job. They did a great job because look, John, over the years, we've known a lot of things just randomly have popped up, and you keep them to yourself until they are announced, whatever it is. But this is one of those things. I didn't hear anything other than they weren't talking to Netflix anymore, and the ESPN after the WWE thing was probably off the table. That's all I'd heard. I didn't hear anything else.
Honestly, that's exactly what except I had heard that they were talking to a different network.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure they were.
Oh, absolutely.
But,
that's their job, to do their due diligence, to see which ones are willing to pay the most. Mm-hmm. This was fantastic. What else is there? It says a fight will pop up. And this is correct in terms of the pay-per-view model. There's fights that you didn't see coming. There's fighters that come into the organization you didn't think we're going to have success. And those, you got to capitalize on those moments. Like Schaub, he's disappeared right now, but I mean, he exploded on the scene undefeated, great fighting style, all finishes until, his last fight, right? Ian Gary, all finishes up until that fight. Hamzat just exploded during COVID, comes along. Now look at him. He's still undefeated, fighting for the title. They're going to have to capitalize on those kind of moments when you have an undefeated fighter trying to get them to the top and they explode on the scene. Those are pay-per-view worthy opponents and fights to have if you're fighting for a title with the undefeated fighter. That's when you start trying to get that last little money grab, just that last little at $100 a pay-per-view. Let me stack that one card. I think that's kind of where everyone's at right now. I think it's a good it's a good deal. I'm excited for them. I'm hoping the fighters get a little extra boost. You know, I wish I was, 15 years younger.
Don't we all?
These guys are making
Don't we
fun.
all?
Big.
Dude, I know.
They're making so much.
Aren't you
money.
just looking forward to getting your share of Moicano's payout?
Look, I actually saw the numbers in terms of what Moicano, he was only going to get like 60 grand. So literally it's going to be like $2 for everybody. So it's not a big deal. Say it's $2. I get it.
Hey, you're talking a damn element right there.
Well, shit,
when,
you can buy.
When you're out, you can go into the grocery store, boom, get an element.
Which, by the way, elements are available at Target now. I think also too. I think they're selling them at Walmart. I think it's Target. I know it's Target for sure. They're releasing that as well. But hey, you don't need that because they don't give you bonus packages at Target. You just use our link down below in the descriptions. They'll send you a bonus package with Element. It said, you know what the funny part is though, John? There's one thing I wanted to say is with the UFC part of Paramount family now, looking forward to the eventual UFC on Nick event. Will they have the Nickelodeon slime stuff on one of their events? Will they ever do that? Because they do it in the NFL.
No.
You don't think so? Like
No.
when the guy gets hit, boom, slime comes out of the side of his face.
Oh,
Have you guys seen
in a commercial? Sure.
No. on a live they do it on a live event in NFL. Like when the guy John, why are you so negative?
Because man, you know what? You take your slime and stick it somewhere.
That's how you get kids to watch
Floam.
I think this is what they'll get
there
on.
You go. That's what they need right there.
What is this?
Pillow fighting. Come on, man.
I think it's really cheap that they have handles for the pillows. I think
so do I.
Yeah, that's cheap.
You should have to hold on to that thing, and you should also be allowed to make a mace out of it.
What's up there in the top right corner, buddy?
Oh, I searched pillow fighting. That's what I searched.
That's not pillow fighting, man.
Sure, buddy. Sure.
Well, it might be some pillows.
You gotta clear your history, brother. You got 3 kids, bro. You don't want the wife to see that. Clear that history. It's funny. I'm kind of interested to see if anything goes along with that, though.
So I had as part of this whole Paramount Plus thing, I got a bunch of responses from kind of like mainstay figures in the MMA space. I just wanted to get your response to some of these. Like some of them have some takes that you guys might not have covered already today, and some of it might be repetitive, but you guys can just touch on the things you want. So that first one is GSP. GSP said, it could be good for the UFC as a promoter, terrible for the fighters. It might be a bad thing for the fighters in a way that they have less leverage. That's what I think. I think it's going to take off some leverage for the big names to have an argument to negotiate more money.
I got to disagree. I'm sorry. When a company has more money, are they going to keep more? Sure, but they can give out more too. And they can make their fighters, their stars especially, happy and comfortable with what they're getting. I don't think, I'm not going to put numbers out and I'm not going to say names, but Josh knows, there are fighters that have fought on non-pay-per-view cards. They were compensated extremely well by the UFC based on the fact that they had a pay-per-view deal. They were that champion and they were not going to be fighting on a pay-per-view. The UFC compensated them very well. Am I lying?
No, you're not. Like, I'll give you an example. Was the Cain Velasquez Jr. fight? Cain got hurt.
You just said what I'm talking about for sure.
Yeah, Cain got hurt the week before. Fox said, "Hey, we want him to fight," and they were willing to pay him his pay-per-view points. I think he made almost $20 million for that fight.
Ooh, you see? Yeah, you just put out a number and people are going, "What?"
Yeah, people they don't like him. I think he made close to $20 million for that fight. And that was because they paid him the pay-per-view points. It was a week before the fight. They weren't going to be able to find a good enough replacement to headline that one. And remember, it was just that one fight.
First one.
It was the first one. It was just the
one
main
fight.
Event.
That's right.
That was it. I know he came up on the losing end, but let me just tell you, he came out on the winning end too.
He won.
And then he came back and won his title, and it made it look even greater. It made his legend even better. So, there's a lot of things about this that I like. I'm not going to disagree with him too much. I lean more towards you though, John. I think, like I said earlier in the show, is look, the more exposure these fighters get, the more money they can make outside of it all. And so making your face more available to the fans, more available to the casuals that are out there, the people don't watch the sport all the time, it can only do one thing, is make you more money. Josh, if you handle yourself accordingly.
Let me ask you a simple question. Did you not, when you were fighting for Strikeforce get put onto CBS programs?
Yes.
This is the point. There's things that are out there that, they can do and that can happen for the fighters. I'm not saying it's going to happen for every fighter. It's not. But every now and then, fighters are going to get these little opportunities, and those are things that can build into other things. So I'm not saying, is every fighter going to get the deal that they always wanted? No.
Yeah.
But when a company is winning and it's making money, it has the ability to kind of pull everybody up with it. The high tide, all the boats are going to rise. Well, this is high tide for the UFC, and all the fighters, I think that, their pay is going to rise a little bit from it. And that's the way it should be. And the UFC is not there to piss people off. Okay. They want to make their fighters happy. They want to make their employees happy. And this just allows them to be able to do it in a more comfortable fashion.
Yeah, look, I did the NCIS LA show twice.
Yeah.
I'm still getting checks from that show.
Hello.
One was 20 years ago or something like that. Basically 20 years ago. I think it was 2007. Yeah, so close to 20 years, 18 years ago or something. And then I just did it again probably, I don't know, 3 years ago or something. Still getting checks. They're not big anymore. They're about, under $200, but I'm still getting them. Sometimes they're only 45 cents.
Yeah, so what? But when it's $200, you go out to dinner. That's what I do.
Yeah. You got another one. I see Schaub's got something to say.
Yeah.
Finds a 7.7 billion. That's with a B, y'all. 7.7 billion broadcast deal with Paramount. Pay-per-view model will end in 2026.
No, it will
UFC, when they had a pay-per-view model, were forced to build stars in order to get money based off pay-per-view. They got rid of that model because they're done building stars. Those days are done. It's not good. None of this is good. It's good for Dana. It's good for TKO. It's good for the shareholders. This is all bad for the fighters in every facet. Now you might say, well, they're going to get more exposure being on Paramount Plus and people don't have to pay for it. You're right. But remember, more exposure doesn't mean more money. And now we're here. And they've doubled their revenue. But the fighters are getting paid exactly the fucking same.
That's
okay. Okay.
okay. So look, the fighters are not getting paid the same. Let me just tell you, I was not making anywhere near what some of these guys are making. Some of these guys are in the top 15. They're making almost double what I was making, and I was making considered to be good money at the time. And I'm only 7 years removed from the sport. You know what I mean? And so it's not the same. These guys they're making good now. The lower end of the totem pole is what, 12 and 12.
Yeah, but that's the low. You can't.
Yeah, you can't.
People cannot. God damn it. This is one of the things that drives me crazy because everyone will sit here and talk, well, in boxing, let me tell you something. In boxing, a fighter doing a 4-round fight, they just put it into this new Ali Act that, okay, we'll give them $150 a round. That's 4 rounds. Figure out that's $600 if you go the 4 rounds. Okay. Don't think that boxers are making all this kind of money. You take a look at all the different promotions, the $12,000 at the start, they're giving you an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not saying that that's something that you're going to be able to live on, but you've got to take that opportunity and make your case of why they want to pay you more. That's based upon the way you fight. It's every time that you see someone coming into the UFC, unless it's a special circumstance, that is an audition. Okay. Yes, they've watched you in other promotions and other places, but it's an audition for you to show them, hey, I am the guy that you want to be putting on your cards. I'm the guy that's going to make people go, wow. I'm the guy that's going to now start moving up, and you're going to want to put me on your main card, and you're going to want to put me on your pay-per-views. That's what this is about. Anyone can sit there and say, I fought in the UFC. Okay, great. How did you do? because that's really what they're looking for. They're looking for stars. Okay, don't sit. Brendan can sit there and say whatever he wants. Oh, they don't care about making stars now. Bullshit. They care about making stars because stars make people get excited about their fights, and that brings revenue.
I'm going to lean towards Brendan a little bit. They don't care about making them. They're waiting for one to pop up. So before they used to try to make them.
Okay.
They're not making them anymore. Like John, I wouldn't say they try to skew the way fights were done in the beginning, but they kind of did. And then I think Dana realized it wasn't working. Like, why would I try to match
Sure, right.
and try to make it work for that guy? And then he doesn't perform. And then I'm out all this time and money I spent on him. No, let the fighters make the best matchups. Let the cream rise to the top, and then I'll run with that guy.
Of course,
make that one. And then I can put the money behind him and build them up.
That's the whole point.
So I kind of agree a little bit with Brendan on that.
No, when you think about it, you said the exact thing. Because let's take a prime example, the best example you could. Conor McGregor was fighting in Cage Warriors, right? He's their double champ, in fact, and they go to Ireland to meet this kid because they're like, okay, let's see what he's like, and they go, hey, he's got something. So they put him onto a card. Where did they put him? He was in the prelims. Okay, that's not the thing that like Dana tried to do in the past, where he tried to pump people up and put them into, that main event in the very beginning. And he's even kind of done that sometimes. Look at Bo Nickel. Even though he made him fight twice in the Dana White Contender Series, his first fight was main card, right? So you take a look and you go, Conor McGregor, he fights Marcus Brimage in his first fight, right? Okay. It was a preliminary fight. His second fight, Max Holloway, preliminary fight. Okay. Then it started because he was talking, he was getting people's interest, and the interest started. So then all of a sudden they started moving him. Okay, he'll be on the main card. But he was, he worked his way there based upon all the things he was doing on the mic, all the predictions he was making that he was absolutely making happen, and the fight performances themselves. That's the making of a star. He made himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, I understand. That's exactly what I was saying. Like they took a kid that could market himself.
Yeah,
who had a country behind him, by the way, and he had a fight. The only thing they did do was they matched him up against favorable matchups. Max was a tough fight. I get it. I understand that. But I'm simply saying though, it was mainly a stand-up guy. They knew he was a stand-up guy. He's fighting another stand-up guy. Let's see what happens. And let's see the best fighter fight. Like they're gonna have these two guys. They want to see an entertaining fight. You put Max and him together, you got an entertaining fight. They knew what they were doing. They weren't gonna really match him up against guys that were wrestlers because they knew that he was mainly a stand-up guy. And that's how they'll help you along.
Yeah.
But they're not pushing you and marketing you and doing too much with you until you start showing that you're worth it.
There you go.
Whereas in the beginning, they were doing everything they could to market every single person that had any type of reputation or any type of good look to them. They were using the fucking ring card girls. Remember that? They were trying to use them for every little thing they could do to try to bring more spotlight to the sport. Then they realized they're like, man, just let the fights do the talking. That's what we are. We're a fight promotion. And once they started doing that and they started seeing the guys that were rising, then they started taking care of those guys. And then they started putting more money behind them and trying to make them stars. That's when their promotion took off. You had Stephan Bonner and Forrest Griffin that really catapulted it all. But you also had guys with mohawks and tattoos on their heads, and bleached blonde hair and Tito Ortiz's. You had Chuck Liddell's. You had guys that could go out there and put on a great show and had a look to them. But they still had to let the fighting do the talking.
That's it.
And that's what they did. So with Brendan, I don't think that they're into the market. I don't think they've been in the market of building stars as of lately either. But they're waiting for the stars to come to them and have performances to build. Khamzat Chimaev, he built his own.
There you go.
Schaub, if he could just fucking stay healthy, they'd love to build him too. There's other. They tried with Bo Nickel, it didn't work. They're gonna revisit that.
They'll still be there.
Yeah, they're gonna revisit that. They were letting the world know that hey, if he did win, he did beat RDR, then hey, we can go ahead and push him some more. But he didn't get it done, which means see, we've got the best fighters who are making these young guys have to learn the sport and respect it. And so that was more of a feather in the cap for the guy. This says a lot about the promotion. We've got guys that, even though Bo Nickel was the man in wrestling, he's not the man in MMA, but he's got to have to learn that if he wants to be the man. So I get it, but these guys they're making a lot of money already, a lot more than I was making, a lot more than some of these other guys were making it at the stage of the career of us, and they're doing a great job. Like, I don't understand this notion of like, hey, they're only because their profits went up. Everyone's like, yeah, but they're still not making enough. They're making quite a bit of money. I mean, I saw some of the payouts. At least this is what was posted a couple times. Some of these fighters are, they've got almost 500 records. They're making $350,000. What the fuck? I'm like, John.
Yeah,
that's wild to me. Like, I'm not saying that
makes you go, damn.
Yeah,
why was I born when I was born?
Yeah, right. Why couldn't I be born a little bit later? Look, I don't know way am I trying to stick up for the UFC because you guys call me UFC hater all the time, but like this is one of those things where the fighters have an opportunity to seize the moment. If they want to boycott or they want to create a union or they want to create anything, then this would be the time. Like, we see you're getting paid, but they're not going to do it, John. They're going to step aside. They're going to let the promotion do their thing, and there's no reason to really continue talking about that. What is I see you got Ariel pulled up there. Let's see what Ariel has to say.
All right.
If Dricus versus Hamzat gets canceled, they will scramble to put together a marquee main event. We've seen it before, right? On like days' notice, weeks' notice. Does that same pressure exist? The tickets are already sold. Does that same pressure exist when they're not on pay-per-view, when their partner isn't selling the show on pay-per-view, when it's just on the same platform as UFC Fight Night 275?
Can you pause it,
The
Dave?
whole dynamic.
Okay. So yes, they'll scramble to still do it because you have a partner that is investing $7.7 billion into your product. So yes, they will still scramble. Otherwise, that's gonna damage that relationship. That's one. Two is, if you just cancel that main event without one side of it being on, you have to refund those tickets.
Refund the money.
You have to refund the money. You have to give the people the option to take their money back if both fighters on the main event are off the card. So yes, this to me is fear mongering, and we get a lot of that these days on the internet. I think they would still look at $7.7 billion. They're going to do whatever they can to make these people happy. They're going to try their hardest, and they've got other avenues to make more money.
Oh, have they not had cards go bad even at the Apex, and they've done everything they can to scramble to get a new main event stuff? They're not going to change their business model of what they do and how they do it based upon now they're with the CBS Paramount deal. That's not going to change.
No, there is a little bit that does concern me that it may change a tiny bit. The CBS model, because we've been on CBS, and that model scares me a tiny bit because they only like to have that 3-hour window. Like it's a 2.5 to 3 or like 2.25.
Normally they would try to do a 2-hour window.
Yeah, and
it needs to be longer.
And it needs to be longer. That's one. Two is when they had the 2-hour window, they only wanted 3 fights or 4 fights. If it was 2 title fights, it would only be 3 fights. If it was 1 title fight, they would do 4 fights. Are they going to get away from that?
Yes, because if there's one thing that the UFC has shown and Dana has showed, he does not allow the company that he is going to partner with, because that's the way he looks at it. And it is, he's partnering with his promotion and their media production, basically, as far as putting it on the tube. He's never acquiesced to, okay, well, we do it our way. He always says, nope, we do it our way. And that's the way it's going to be. And we're not going to change. That has never, ever, ever happened where he's changed. And so he's not going to change. There's not a doubt in my mind. There's nothing that's going to change with this.
Absolutely not. He's like, look, my product and what I've produced and what I give all the other business partners we've had before has been successful. And the proof is in the pudding. That's why you're paying me $7.7 billion to make the right calls.
And so do you think that they're going to give him the 3 to 3.5 hour window? Of course they are.
Absolutely. They're going to use their same production, their same people they always use.
Always.
They're not gonna change anything. Because let's be honest, when Strikeforce was with Showtime and CBS, and they used to cut up the card, they used to put fighters where they wanted to, they used to tell them who they could use. Like it was
all the
was one of
time.
the biggest
They
problems.
took the matchmaker for Strikeforce would bring a card and have to show it to the Showtime people, and they would have to approve it. And many times they didn't.
No, they cut it up.
Oh yeah, and it was an absolute calamity, and that actually did happen with Dana and Showtime when the UFC bought Strikeforce, because Showtime still had, and they said, "Oh no, we get to have a say," and he goes, "You're going to have a very short say."
Yeah.
And that that happens. So he's been there, and there's no way that he's not going to have it to the exact way that he knows. I need this much time, and we're going to put on this many fights.
It's about the pace. I think the UFC does a really good job of pacing their fights. They understand the gap they need in between. They need to understand. They understand how, hey, to slide Megan O'Leary in there for this amount of time, to throw it back, and do a working man with the people at the desk, whatever it is. They know how to use their time wisely. Go ahead and carry on with the Ariel thing.
Is going to change. And oh, by the way, if we are in fact killing pay-per-view, and that's what they said, that's it. It's dead. It ain't coming back. In 7 years, you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. That's it. We're done. We're out of the pay-per-view business. And the UFC was the last commodity left. The last commodity left that was a consistent pay-per-view draw, if you will. Like, yes, the number is dwindling. A lot of that. We don't know if the viewership dwindled because a lot of people were pirating, but the buys were dwindling because it was a lot easier to pirate. But now you can't go back. In 7 years, you can't decide you want to do this differently and go back to the old way. Once you've already told people that you don't have to pay anymore and you've touted the fact that we want to save you money, you cannot go back. So it's very fascinating to see the trickle-down effect. The idea...
Okay, so you can go back.
I was going to say, yes, they can.
You can. You definitely can go back, but you're gonna have to deliver something that they've never seen before. It's gonna have to be on the White House lawn. It's gonna have to be on on the platform of a what are those aircraft carriers. It's gonna have to be something that has never been done before, and that's what you're gonna have to do. Like if you were to say, "Hey, we're having an event at the Sphere for the first time," and we did, people would tune in. And that's what you're gonna get. Like, yes, pay-per-view can be put back. It can be put back in the bottle.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's wise. I don't see them doing more than one a year, a huge like New Year's Eve. I'm just throwing the one out that they do in Japan. Like if it was a huge New Year's Eve card, which I don't think the UFC would do. But I'm simply saying like a year of the end, like, champ versus champ, a huge card. It'd only be once a year. It'd be like their version of a WrestleMania.
True.
That's it. And it's gotta have to make sense with the talent and the fighters that are matching up, and you've got an undefeated guy going against somebody else who's undefeated coming up, and then you've got these other fighters that are extremely interested. There's something there. But to sit there, like I said, this to me that felt a little bit more like fear mongering in terms of, and everything that he said in that seemed like fear mongering to me, because the UFC is sure maybe they're going to the CBS platform and Paramount platform. Because they're trying to make it more affordable. They probably got tired. I think a major part of it, they got tired of being pirated, for their pay-per-views, losing a ton of money, and they're guaranteed this money now. I don't think anything, like you said, is going to change for their product. It's going to stay the same. You're going to have a great product. It's going to be a great product. Everyone kept saying like, oh, well, this product is like, as of lately, the cards have been shit. Look, as of lately, the cards have been fantastic. There was some moments in there where the cards were shit, but based on the fact that the fighters just weren't delivering either. There was moments where the fighters were not delivering. On top of that, there was no name value. And a lot of people just tune those cards out because there's no name value. I'm one of those culprits that does that every once in a while. I'm like, man, I'm not watching that card. There's nobody on there. I don't even know half the guys on the field. We watch the damn fights every week.
Every week.
Casual at home is like, okay, I don't know anybody on this damn card. I'm not watching it. So I don't think that's going to change. Like the fight, it's up to the fighters to deliver, which they'll continue to do their best, and it's up to the promotion to do a good job of pumping them up and promoting them. But the cream's got to rise to the top. You got to try to be a star. You got to get on that mic and say something. Don't just say, "Hey, whatever the UFC wants." That's one thing that I agree with Uncle Chael. When you get that chance to get the mic in your hand, don't waste that opportunity to say, "Yeah, whatever UFC and Dana White wants." My dumb ass did that in my very first fight in the UFC. Hey, I'm just here to fight, and if whoever Dana wants.
There wasn't a whole lot of talkers back when you first were in the UFC, so
I know.
it's okay.
The fucked up thing was, John, is I was a fucking talker outside the cage.
Yeah, no shit.
You gave me the mic, and I was like, "Yeah, just be a company man."
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah,
I'll fight anybody Dana puts in front of me.
Yeah, stupid. Stupid is, stupid does. Like a box of chocolates. Anyways, let's hear what my friend.
Speaking of Mike and saying something, here's Mike saying something.
Whole thing.
Yeah, 32.
32. The money will continue to grow, but it can't just grow overnight. So a little bit of patience, and ultimately worrying about the best thing that you can do for yourself is making yourself an indispensable asset to your promoter, making yourself an indispensable asset to the people that have put money behind you when it comes to endorsements, when it comes to getting on microphones, when it comes to using your platform, when it comes to building a fan base outside of just punching people in the face in a cage. And if you can do that, and you can do it with class and integrity, the money just continues to multiply. I think
he's got some good points.
He didn't say anything wrong there.
No.
And the one thing I will say, you can't really tell, but he's got a Paramount shirt on.
Yeah.
And you look and you go, I know when he got that shirt.
Yeah.
That was back at I want to say the first Bellator on Paramount, back when I started with Bellator. So he was on the card.
He actually said he saw it in a Gucci store when he was walking by.
Oh man, he got that thing. That was they were handed out, dude.
Yeah.
Because look, it's got Gucci on the back. Watch us, Gucci. Yeah. He said it was in a Gucci store window.
Maybe his was, but that was the exact same shirt in the front, which is just their logo. So of course, it would be.
I mean, he could have just put Gucci on the back. How is everything? Everything's Gucci. Or
everything's all Gucci with me, man. He's right. Everything he said was right.
Yeah, you got like we were talking about. You've got to get in front of the mic. You've got to say things. You've got to promote yourself. You've got to, and let your fighting and your words do all the promotion for you. Do the best you can outside the cage to to bring people to support you.
When he's talking about, saying, hey, be there for your promoter, be there for your sponsors, he's absolutely right. That's how you make those people happy. So even when you aren't winning, they still want to be with you.
Mm-hmm. His face looks a little puffy there, John.
Yeah, well, stuff happens.
Tennessee whiskey.
So Dana White at the Dana White Contender Series tonight. This came out 1 minute ago on MMA Junkie. He talks about the bonuses going up. You guys want to hear this? It's fresh off.
Let's talk about this. Is what everyone wants to hear right here. Talk about. Show me the money. Show me the money.
With you right now. What's the carrot or the encouragement to be the superstar?
It's not massive restructuring. We got a bunch of smart kids over there that work in the accounting department to figure out how to, how to make all this stuff work. But it's so good for the fighters. And what I love about being with, one company that made such a big investment in us is they're all in with us. So, the fighters are going to get tons of promotion, built by all these different unbelievable networks that these guys own. And, these are aggressive, smart guys that are going to build a big media company.
Yeah. Do you know what the cards are going to look like? Now that you no longer have to sell a pay-per-view, does that mean you don't necessarily have to stack the numbered events so deep and you spread the roster a little bit?
That's not the way I think. That's not the way I think. We're going to go in with to this Paramount deal, guns a-blazing, and no, that's not the way I think. I don't go, let's water this shit down now. We don't have to, exactly.
The fighter pay stuff, obviously that's going to go up. The fighters are going to get money. Do you guys look at that as a case-by-case contractual basis with each fighter? Or
what's the question?
I'm getting there. Do you look at it case-by-case with each fighter, or do you go, right, we're going to
What was the first part of the question?
Fighter pay.
Fighter pay.
Yeah. So do you look at it as like case-by-case on each fighter, or do you go, right, we're just going to up the base pay and maybe up the bonuses? How do you sort of figure out the fighter pay rising?
Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to have any comments on that yet because we still got to get together and figure this stuff out. It's August. We have till January to figure all that stuff. But, the low-hanging fruit that's easy to answer, bonuses are obviously going up. So, that'll be big. And just forget about the tide rising with all with all the other fighters. I mean, just the number that the bonuses bring to a fighter is, that's millions of dollars.
To acquire like Matt.
See, he even used the tide is rising. See?
Yeah. Well, look, he's not like you, like John said, and we've talked about it. He's not going to change what he does.
No.
And
Here, I have helped create this business that is now worth what? Let's say $20 billion. I don't know, whatever it is. And I did it doing, things a certain way. So now that I've reached where I'm at, I'm going to stop. Dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
Dumbest thing ever, Josh.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, for people to think that, it doesn't make any sense. He's going to continue doing what he's doing. Dana is the guy that just keeps chasing the next thing in front. And you're going to find that with a lot of entrepreneurs. Like, let's be honest, like I've owned a ton of gyms. I own a gi company. Like, every time I do something, I kind of get bored. I'm like, okay, I got to move on now. Okay, try to sell it, let someone else run it, whatever, and then you move on. And I do it at a very, super low level. These guys, they're chasing billions of dollars. It's an addiction. They're addicted to this. And to think that they're going to change what they do for anybody and knowing that it's working, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm happy to hear that fighter pay is going to go up. I'm happy to hear that bonuses are going to go up. I think obviously it should. And I'm happy for the fighters. I'm a little jealous, but I'm happy. I'm a little jealous, but I'm happy. It's a good thing for them, man. You give everything and you want to be rewarded. And I'd like to hear that they're going to get rewarded. That's awesome, man. Yeah, there's just so much information, John, that needs to be, they got to wrap our heads around this. And so it's right now, like he said, he's going to wait for the finance guys to get a hold of the numbers, see exactly what we can do about fighter pay, raise it up a little bit. They know their bonuses are going to go up. Those are going to I think they'll probably go to 100. Everything will go to 100, probably, maybe 150, but I think probably a nice round number every single time.
100.
Yeah, just easy to, hey, it's 100. And then not to mention, there'll still be at-home bonuses. When you get home, there's an extra check for 25 grand or extra check for 50, extra check for 10, whatever it is. So it's not in him to change the way he does things. We know that.
Nope.
But what else you got, Dave?
All right, we're going to move on to UFC 319 at this point.
Why? We got so much to talk about.
Before we do that, though, hey, make sure you guys subscribe to us over at OnlyFans. We actually have people there watching us right now on the OnlyFans platform. We've been a partner with them for a little over 2 years, and we're actually coming up on our 3rd year. We've got other fighters that are on there as well, Demetrius Johnson, Luke Rockhold, all those things you guys have heard me say before. Join us over there. It is free. We take our fan questions from there as well, and it is free to submit your fan questions. Or you can join us on YouTube as a member for $4.99 to get to your super chats. Drop us some super chats while we're doing this show today. We will get to those at some point in this show. So make sure you guys drop us super chats. If you guys are thinking of us, keep us going, man. Give us a tip. Let us know. What else you got, Dave? Let's go ahead and talk about UFC 319 pay-per-view. You got Duplessis versus Chimaev. John, before we even talk about the fight, did you see Chimaev's video where he walked up to DDP and he just looked like a fucking giant compared to DDP?
No, that's the funny part.
I was like, what the hell?
Everyone talks about how big DDP is.
Yeah.
And he's a good sized guy, but they forget Chimaev's big. That's why I said that whole 170 pound thing. Him going down to fight Islam. They ain't happening, dude.
Take a look at that, John.
He's too big.
Look at that. Look at that. Good God.
Well, some of it is angle too. You gotta go with angle.
It is.
He's looking up, dude. He's looking up.
Yeah.
He's looking at him going, shit, you're bigger than I thought.
Chimaev's looking Chimaev's looking down and fucking DDP is looking up. Holy yeah. I mean, I hope he makes weight.
That's what I'm saying. People are saying, he'll fight Islam in 170. It's like, not a fucking chance.
There's no way he's going to that.
No way.
He's
way too big.
Some of that might be during that time it affected his cardio of him going up and down in weight. Maybe that had something to do with his cardio. Now he's been at 85 for a while. He's been building up his muscle. See him working out with Aaron Pico over at the training lab with Sam Calavita and those guys.
Mm-hmm.
He looks fantastic. He physically looks like a damn giant. His back, his neck, all of it. So this is gonna be one of those fights. He goes out there and dominates DDP. Everyone's gonna be like, holy shit, he's the real deal.
Well, if he goes out and dominates DDP, everyone's going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole lot of people saying, nope, DDP is going to be the guy coming out on top in that fight. So it's going to be interesting to see. I obviously either guy can win it.
Yeah, the betting odds don't agree with that. They're saying that Chimaev's going to win the fight.
I'm just saying, look, I'm being honest. I go with the betting odds.
Do you really?
I do. I pick Chimaev to win that fight.
Okay. Okay. Wow, you're full on this. You're just giving out your pick right off the bat, huh? Not even talk about the fight first. I can break anything down.
Sorry about that.
Look, we've got a new member that joined, Joel Martinez. Want to thank you. Welcome to the fam. Welcome to the weighing in.
Welcome to the weighing in family, Joe.
John doesn't normally blow his wad like that in the first 10 seconds of a fight, but Chimaev got him excited. So
it's been a while.
So give me your analysis of how you see Chimaev getting it done, and does he get it done in the first 3 rounds?
He might, and this is the whole thing. I gotta look and say, look, I got nothing but respect for Dricus. He is he's an outstanding fighter. He's tough. He has shown how tough he is. He will take an ass whipping, and I think he's going to take an ass whipping in the first couple rounds. The speed is going to be a big difference, and you're going to see the difference. I'm not saying that Dricus is slow. He's not, but he's not as fast as Chimaev. And Chimaev's movement, and especially the way he shoots, he's going to get Dricus down, within the first minute and 30 of the fight. And at that point, he's so good. And this is one of the things he does. The way he sets up his takedown, he'll get into his opponent, and he'll switch to the back all the time. And once he switches to the back in the way that he does it, it's trouble for whoever his opponent is at the time, because he just, that there's times when there's guys that just have a position. Randy Couture's position was half guard, and he was so good at keeping guys in that half guard. He would press down, he locked the leg, he'd press down with his hips, and they couldn't move. Well, it's the same thing with Chimaev when he gets to that back position on his opponent. He puts an incredible amount of pressure. He doesn't always use his hooks, but he does a ton from that position. And he has now really opened himself up he used to really start to go for the submission right away. Now he's going towards the strikes, and he's going towards hitting people with elbows. These are all things, when you get hit with those, you can sit there and say you survived the round, but it did damage you. So the next time you come out for that second round, you're not quite the same fighter that you were when it started off. And now it happens again in the second round. Now you're even more diminished as a fighter. And I just look at the fact that I think Dricus is in that position where he's good on the ground. He is not near as good as Chimaev. And people can sit there and bullshit all they want. He does have a good ground game. Chimaev's got a better one. And you can go off of that. Josh, you can take a look at what he did with Luke Rockhold just in grappling. And how
you're
good.
Talking about practice.
Stop.
You're talking about practice.
Stop. Okay. When he handles Luke that way, it's telling you the level of what he is. And he's proved it in the cage. He's done it, when we've watched him in tape, in practices and stuff. The guy is freaking special. I'm just going to say it. I've watched him too many times, and there's a reason why he's undefeated. Now, he does have those things that you look at and you go, he gets tired. Yes. But I think he has done everything he could to button up those holes. And I just think that this is going to be his night.
Yeah, I mean, I can see. Look here, I can see why.
You want to come to my side?
I do.
Okay.
But here's the thing that's keeping me from coming to your side. DDP is the guy that we've been counting out since before he won the title.
I agree.
And every time we count him out, he finds a way to win, and he makes it a dogfight. And look, Chimaev he's very talented. I just saw this clip of someone put a stat out. Basically, every single one of his fights, the fights hit the ground in under 40 seconds. He's gotten his takedown.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, because now you got to survive 4.5 minutes or 4 minutes, whatever it is. whenever it was, and in any of it, I mean, he's got 7 or 8 fights, I think, in the UFC. All of them, it's in the first round, they've hit under a minute. They've hit the ground in double legs, or not double leg, but in wrestling, they've hit the ground. Whether he controlled it or not, was able to get back up, whatever, it doesn't matter. He's gotten the takedown in the first minute.
Yep.
Now, if you can't get up and you end up with him on your back, you end up with him on side control or 3/4 mount, whatever it is, you're in a lot of damn trouble for 4.5 minutes. So I've always said this. I have not seen a big enough sample size on Chimaev to against top level competition. Robert Whitaker was that one top level competition guy for us to get the sample size out of. And Robert's been on the downslide. I don't want to take anything away from Chimaev and the dominant performance he had, but he's kind of been a little bit on the downslide. He's getting a little bit older. It wasn't his fight. He's had that problem before with his mouth. It's keeping me guessing. It's keeping me from wanting to go to the Chimaev side, because I'm like, what happens when someone does stop you? Let me give you what this fight reminds me of.
Go ahead.
This fight reminds me of when BJ Penn fought Jens Pulver the first time. Is that everybody thought BJ was going to walk right through Jens Pulver. I thought BJ Penn was going to walk right through Jens Pulver. BJ came in, just didn't get it done. Got tired, exhausted, gassed, and we've seen Chimaev. It reminds me exactly of that fight in terms of the buildup. Everyone's counting DDP out. I'm not ready to do it. I'm just not ready to do it. And I'm not saying it's not going to be a great fight, but until I see a big enough sample, I know he's fighting for the title, but I said, look, the UFC, I've said it all night tonight, the UFC's job right now is to take the guy who's undefeated, who has got a following, and make him a star. Well, he's made himself a star by beating guys and doing it in dominant fashion, doing a great job. But he has never fought someone like DDP. I don't think anyone is really, like, a lot of these fighters that have fought DDP, like, man, you're the most herky-jerky, unorthodox fighter. Like, it's hard to find guys to fight like you. And so, will that throw Chimaev off? Will the strength and size of DDP, even though we just watched that video, it didn't look like
is the strength and size going to affect him? No.
Is it going to make it? Is it going to be an effect? Is there going to be a problem there? I don't know. John, this fight, to be honest, look, this fight interests me so much because, like I said, I haven't seen a big enough sample size of Chimaev against top level competition, and Dricus is always counted out. Jens Pulver was almost always counted out. Chimaev, BJ Penn was always the guy that was going to dominate everyone, especially after what he did to Carl Uno. Chimaev, everyone's like, man, he's just going to walk through these two, and he's done a great job of doing that. So when I look at this fight, I go, man, this sets up to be a perfect champion silences the critics kind of moment, right? Like, I don't know. This is one of those moments. Or you have the guy that rises and just shuts Josh Thompson up. Exactly what it is. I'm not a Chimaev hater. I enjoy watching DDP fight, but this is one of those fights that really does interest me because I have no damn idea how it's going to go. None. If I'm a betting man, I'm staying the fuck away from this fight. I don't know who to go with, John. No idea.
I understand what you're saying to a point, but like you said, everybody that Chimaev has fought, he's taken down fast. Kamaru Usman can wrestle.
Yeah.
Okay. Took him down fast. Okay. He's going to take DDP down. And DDP knows it. He's said it. Yeah, he's going to take me down. Okay. And it is about how do you get up? Because if there's one thing that you can watch, and you can watch it when he fought Kevin Holland, Kevin did a beautiful Granby roll when he was taken down, and you watched Chimaev just eat it up and stay with him and roll through it. And I was like, damn, that was a great move by Kevin Holland. And he got nowhere with it. And this is what I'm talking about. His level of grappling is incredibly high. And I'm not saying that, again, not saying that Dricus doesn't have good grappling, but it doesn't reach the level of Chimaev's. And when I know that the fight's going to hit the ground, and I know he's going to take damage. And if there's one thing I've seen in Dricus, he absorbs damage good, but he shows it. He wears it. He does lump up. He's not like a BJ Penn, who for a lot of his career would take shots and you couldn't tell. No. He's more like a Fedor Emelianenko. He shows it. Mm-hmm. And so how is that going to have an effect on the fight? again, you're absolutely right. Dricus doesn't get the credit he deserves. He has fought tough people. He has come away with wins. He hasn't fought anyone with the skill set that Chimaev has, and that's the reason I'm going with Chimaev.
You use the Kevin Holland as an example, right? But Kevin Holland, if you recall, made 170 and then like the day before, and then fought Chimaev at 180 something. So that was when Chimaev missed weight. They weren't scheduled.
You're right. Chimaev weighed in at 178, and Kevin moved up. But again, that has nothing to do.
John,
I'm not saying it was the way. What Kevin did when he was being taken down was right.
Okay.
It was the right technique to use.
Absolutely. Let me give you another devil's advocate.
Go ahead.
These are the things that go through my head. Now I know there's a lot that goes in and out, in one ear and out the other. I got that. I understand, guys. But what gets me though is remember how Usman struggled in that first round, got taken down, got mounted, he was really struggling in that first round with Chimaev.
Yeah.
He survived.
Yes, he did.
Took the fight on
Why?
shoulder.
Why? Because he's a hell of a fighter.
Yeah, but he's not. He is not used to being on his back either. And he was mounted, and DDP has been on his back. He knows how to survive on the bottom as well, and he can work his way to getting back to the top. I don't know if you've seen that video of him grappling all these guys from Dagestan and other areas, and in grappling matches and having success. So I don't think I agree with you that Chimaev is the better wrestler. I agree with you. He's probably the better grappler in terms of grappling. But I'm like, he was not able to fight. He was not able to finish Usman, not as if Usman's a slouch, but literally coming on 5 days notice or however much it was and coming in and fighting Chimaev. He wasn't able to finish him in the first when he had him mounted, had him in 3/4 mount. He was putting it on him and then started to lose the fight in the third round. So DDP, like I said, that's where that's where I'm struggling with my choice on who I would pick. Because Chimaev going to get I'm actually not going to make a pick because I know I'm going to get destroyed. Podcast Dave is on my side. Do not make a pick.
No, make the pick.
Yeah, there you go. Good. Tell him, Dave.
You're an MMA commentator, online commentator with the expertise and knowledge that people come here for. You got to make a pick.
There you go, Dave. Tell him.
I think it's going to be a draw. No,
that's horrible.
I'm going to give it a push. I love this matchup. I think this is what makes our sport so great is matchups like this.
So you're saying DDP is going to win?
John, don't put words in my mouth.
I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm just saying that you were saying DDP is going to win.
No, I never said that.
Yeah, everything you've said so far is saying that you're going with DDP.
DDP is someone you can't overlook, like you're overlooking it right now.
I am not overlooking it.
You're completely overlooking it. You already said you didn't even give the analysis, the fight analysis and breakdown. You said I'm taking Chimaev, so you completely overlooked DDP.
I'm going against a whole lot of people that are saying that I'm crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like normally in these situations, the betting odds are normally right.
If you're going to be impartial and non-biased, then we should just replace you on this show with a judge.
I love it. I love it. This is a great
one
fight,
for
though.
Dave.
I'm super excited about this fight because it's the unknown. The unknown of Chimaev. How good is he in rounds 3, 4, and 5 in championship rounds against somebody like a DDP that's very just unorthodox and tough to deal with, whether it's on the ground, on the feet, herky-jerky, heavy leg kicks, all of those things. And like I talked about last week on the midweek show, I said, hey, when DDP throws a kick, it like knocks people off balance. He's got like heavy hips or heavy thighs. It really kind of makes it difficult for them to sit down on their punches and land good shots. Whereas Chimaev, people are they're overlooking his striking. He's got good striking. His striking's fantastic.
Not according to DDP's coach.
Yeah. And
we went over that.
That's why we talked about coaches shouldn't say too much going on. So, but this is going to be one of those fights. I can't pick a winner. I have no idea. I am leaning towards DDP, but I can't pick a winner.
Okay.
I can't, just because, like I said, for me, it's the unknown. But this is what makes our sport so great because there's so many different ways both of these guys can win.
Yeah, there is.
John, let's go ahead. And Dave, do you want to take one of these super chats real quick?
Just after you dig a card.
Okay, we'll do after we do the card. We'll just hit them all.
You're dying to, but let's just,
I am. I'm dying just to talk shit to all of our members. But they're all saying good things. I love it. Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico.
Let's see. I'll let you go because you're gonna make a pick. Here, you want me to make a pick?
I don't
Aaron
pick
Pico's going to
one of
win
my
this
friends.
damn fight.
I don't pick when my friends are fighting.
I don't care.
It's like betting on your friends when you pick. It's the
Look,
worst.
this is a great matchup, and it's one, the UFC tried to put Aaron Pico with Evlov, and it didn't happen. You thought that was a better actual matchup for Aaron, based upon their wrestling would kind of, we'll say, equal, it'll equal it out, but the striking is a big difference, and Aaron's striking is right up there. It is outstanding, and he's got power. At 145 pounds, Aaron Pico can put you out with one shot, and that's an impressive amount of power. But Laurent Murphy's, he has been fantastic. You take a look at his record and everything. He's what, 16-0 with one. I guess he's got one draw too, so we'll say that. But if you looked at the records and everything's going to tell you to go with Laurent Murphy. If you know the people and everything, that starts to create a little bit of a difference with it. Laurent Murphy's he's a great fighter in the stand-up. He's going to be tough as hell for Aaron Pico. I look at Aaron Pico as someone who's unique in the fact, look at his wrestling is outstanding. His grappling game is now really good. His stand-up game is outstanding. And his cardiovascular is as good as anyone you will ever find. I don't worry about him getting tired. I have watched that young man go nonstop action against good fighters and absolutely dominate with just pressure, taking someone down, going after submission, letting them up, going back on the takedown, going to a stand-up. He doesn't get tired. I know he gets tired, but he doesn't show it. Mm-hmm. And so I look at this, and my biggest question in this fight is, how does Aaron handle the pressure of being the co-main event in his very first time of stepping in that cage, which is a different cage than every other cage he's been in? It's the UFC. And how does that affect him? He's fought in front of huge crowds before. So it's not the crowd, but it is the difference in the entire atmosphere, the people, everything. How is he going to handle it? I think he's going to handle it well. So I'm going with Aaron Pico.
Yeah, I don't pick when my friends are fighting.
You also don't pick when it's DDP against Khamzat.
I don't bet on my friends. I don't pick them. I don't pick who's going to win. I'm leaning obviously a lot towards Aaron Pico. And I say the same thing. I think, when Islam's going to fight, or when Habib's going to fight, or Umar's going to fight, or whoever else I know is going to fight.
Whoa.
Obviously, I'm leaning.
You stop, okay? Because now you're lying. Because you did pick Islam over Charles Oliveira with a submission. Tell me you didn't. Tell me you didn't.
The writing on the wall, John. Like, it was pretty easy.
Hold it. Is Islam not your friend?
It was pretty easy to see.
Is Islam not your friend?
It was pretty easy to see. Look, with Aaron, this is you hit it. You said exactly what I said a couple weeks ago. Is I like the Evlov fight a lot more. Because I think the wrestling would have canceled itself out. I also think that Aaron could have stuffed his takedowns, and on the feet, Aaron's the better boxer. He's got heavy hands, good boxing, can stuff takedowns. Like, I think he could have nullified that, and that was, to me, a better matchup for him. This fight, it's not even so much that it's the same equal matchup, but there's just more danger involved. Sure. He's got to be careful of punches and kicks coming from different angles. He's got to make sure his defense is a little bit more on point. You don't have to worry about Evlov really throwing jumping flying knees and push kicks up the middle, or what, he's going to keep it pretty simple in the striking, and then he's going to work on the rest.
Laurent doesn't really throw flying knees.
John,
he's pretty basic.
Okay, we say that, but if you go back and watch some of Aaron's past fights, people pull from that.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's my point. My point is that if Laurent Murphy's done any research on him, he's going to go, hey, these are the things that I saw worked against Aaron. I know Aaron's a different fighter, but it's not going to hurt me to try it.
Okay.
And from what I understand, this is a 5-round fight.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Which only makes me lean towards Aaron Pico more.
It does. It does make me lean more towards Aaron Pico. But the one thing is, do you think that Laurent Murphy is faster or slower than Pico?
I think they're the same.
I think that Laurent Murphy's faster.
No way. This, well,
How
this
can
is
they
all,
be
hold
the
it.
same? But then you're
This
like,
is-
absolutely
the
no way
whole-
he's not faster.
This is the whole Kevin Holland, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson argument we had. You said
Mhm.
that Kevin Holland is way faster now than Wonderboy.
Yeah. And look, and I ate crow on that.
Okay.
And I ate
You
crow. on
ready?
that.
So are you ready to eat crow again? LaRon Murphy's fast.
Oh, he is
So
fast.
was Aaron Pico.
Did I not? Did I didn't say he was slow. I just said LaRon is faster than him.
I don't think he's faster. I think they're the
Okay.
same. I think they cancel each other out again.
All right. I mean, like, but you thought Ode was not going to be faster, and he was.
Yeah, and I thought he would lose, and he did.
Well, but you can't change the argument.
What are you
can't change
talking
the
about
argument.
here, man?
You said he was not faster, and he was way faster, not a little bit. by a
Didn't
lot.
say anything about
He
his
was
speed.
way
I said,
faster.
you lying now.
Hey, pull up the tape. Let's pull
Pull
it
up
up.
the tape, please.
Alejandro Gutierrez says, Josh, make co-main and main picks and I'll gift subs.
Okay, I'm going Drickus Duplessis.
I knew it, you coward. You
and,
coward.
I'm going Aaron Pico.
I
There you go, Alejandro Gutierrez. That's for
He
you,
sold
baby
out.
boy.
He
That's for
sold
you.
out.
I
He
sold
sold
out.
out.
I sold out. I'm taking Aaron fucking Pico.
The slower guy?
The one that has power and can wrestle.
Yeah.
But yes, DDP I think gets it done, man. I'm gonna go DDP.
Okay.
Aaron, to me, like there's just dangers here. There's a lot, like it's just dangerous. It's just about the
Sure
speed.
there is.
I think LaRon is going to be faster. I didn't see as many dangers with Evloff for Pico than I do with LaRon. LaRon's dynamic, man. 16-0 and
He's
1,
great.
16-0.
He's a great fighter.
I do have the same concern you have though, John, with Aaron, and it haunts me because I remember his first fight being kind of like in this position where no one wanted to fight him, fighting a guy being put on the big stage. He's a completely different person now. But the UFC does bring those jitters. That's one.
Sure.
2 is it's the biggest platform in the world. We all can agree on that. And then 3 is you're fighting an undefeated fighter who this is his home. It feels like home for him. He's comfortable inside that cage. But both fighters in a co-main event, LaRon's I know he's been a main event before, but LaRon, this is a big deal. Fighting underneath DDP and Chimaev, pretty much one of the biggest, if not the biggest pay-per-view of the year. So there's a lot that goes for both of them.
Sure.
But I agree with you that the longer this fight goes, the better for Aaron Pico it is. Especially after a couple takedowns. Just his ground and pound is some of the nastiest. He's got deceptively longer arms than his like lower torso. Take a look. If Dave, pull up that picture for me, please, if you can.
The one
Of Aaron Pico, the one you have where he's fucking ripped and shredded, and veins coming out of his nads. Like it's crazy, John. Look at that. I know a lot of it's the lighting, and I get it, but that is insane. And like we talked about when he came into Bellator, he was a baby.
He was a boy.
He was a young man, and in this situation, he's a full-blown man now. He is ripped and shredded, ready to fight. I do get a little concerned that he was already ready to fight weeks ago, and then had to change his camp, and that messes up your peak time. That has an effect. It can. And normally it does a little bit. It does. So I'm not saying that he's going to be he's always going to be in shape. He never stops training every single day. He trains extremely hard. He's going to be, the shape thing is not, but the timing of everything. Now I'm training for a guy who's, a little bit faster, a little bit more crafty on the feet, moves a lot more, where Evloff just kind of walked forward, circled a little bit, walked forward. LaRon moves in circles, use lateral movements, set up his striking. This is a fight where he's going to have to think a lot more inside that cage versus just standing right in front of Evloff and saying, I can trade with you. I can wrestle with you. I can do whatever I want with you. That's a different style fight. I have to be careful with the way you move. I have to be careful with the strikes coming up the middle if my hands are too wide. You've got to be careful of all of those things. And so those are the things that scare me about it. But man, Aaron's fucking, he's good, man. He's good. So LaRon's a fantastic fighter as well, as we see 16-0. You don't get to 16-0 if you're not good. So I'm excited for this fight. Wishing Aaron the best, obviously. And the next fight, Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. Alejandro Gutierrez, I'm holding you to that bet, buddy. I get Let's go.
He did already.
John, I actually want to ask you though, do you think it is fair? Because I saw a bunch of people complaining about the Aaron Pico LaRon Murphy betting line. Is that Aaron Pico was minus 180 and LaRon was a plus 150, and the over at 2.5 is minus 210. So it took, yeah. I mean, like, do you think that's fair? First fight in UFC, fighting the undefeated fighter, co-main event,
I
big
agree.
stage.
But again, as you said, betting lines are normally right. and look, they understand what's there, and it's not. I'm not saying Lerone Murphy can't beat him. You know, he's a tremendous fighter, and he's fun to watch. And I've rooted for him too many times. His coach and I are friends, but it's the element that he doesn't possess that Pico does that makes me go, it's going to be a hard fight for him.
Yeah, true.
So
then you got Jeff Neal versus Carlos Pratis. What a fight, John.
That's a good fight right there. You know, Carlos Pratis is, you know, had just an outstanding start in the UFC. He then loses the one fight to Gary, but I mean, you look at that last round, that fifth round that he was going after him, and
Ian Gary was running away on his hands and knees.
Yes, he was. So you look and you go, there's one thing I know with Pratis, he's coming to fight, and if there's one thing I know with Jeff Neal, he comes to fight. So like you said, this is one of those ones you look, man, someone's going to go to sleep in this. I just have, you know, Jeff's got big power. Pratis has got power. He does it a little bit different than Neal. But I think this is going to be a really exciting fight. This is one that I don't think you can pick.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think it takes away from Shavkat's win over Neal if Pratis goes out there and sleeps Jeff Neal?
Yeah.
So then does that, like, I know that Shavkat's been removed pretty much for the last year. He hasn't fought.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Anyways, and so does it take away where that kind of moves Shavkat down the rankings, like pretty much out of title contention?
No, I don't think it doesn't.
Not out of the rankings, but out of that top. I think he's number 2 right now.
I don't think it moves him out of anything as far as that, because look, he got the win. But it does tell you that if Pratis comes out and starches Neal and does it, you know, handily, that's something that Shavkat was able to get rid of him, but it took 3 rounds for him to do it. So does it sit there and take a little bit off of, well, Shavkat had problems with him. Pratis came out and just handled him. Yeah, people are going to look and say, kind of says something about where Shavkat might be, because both of them fought Gary, but when Shavkat won and Pratis didn't. So,
but Shavkat didn't have Gary in any type of situation like Pratis did in that last round.
No,
Shavkat was, you know, Gary did a good job of sticking a move, and just it was a point contest.
Yeah.
Whereas Pratis was like, I know I'm losing this fight right now because you're outpointing me and running. I'm going to try to put it to you, and sure enough, he did put it to him in that last round. Look at the Pratis Jeff Neal fight. I think it's whoever gets to whose chin first. It's really going to come down to that. There's going to be some exchanges, and I could see Jeff Neal clipping Pratis and putting his lights out.
Absolutely.
Because look, Pratis is different than, you know, Jean Silva and Kai Bahalo and those guys. He's got 7 losses.
Yeah, but those are early.
No, I'm not saying they're not, John, but there's a different, and I know he's you know, on the way up. You know, he had his loss to Ian Gary, but he has 7 losses. Like, he's been there before. Like, he's, you know, and I'm sorry, I have a hard time with guys that smoke the week of the fight. And I saw the interview. He basically said, I smoke because it helps me lose weight. Like,
remember Mayorga?
My weight cut.
Remember Mayorga?
Yes.
Ricardo Mayorga boxing. Dude, he'd getting weighed in and he's smoking.
Yeah.
Some guys can do it. Don't
he was
ask me
fun
how.
to watch fight too. Pratis reminds me a lot of him.
Same thing.
It is what it is. It helps him. He said it helps him make sure he doesn't, because they like, when I get bored and I get amped up from the week of the fight, he's like, all I want to do is eat. He's like, so I smoke.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I guess whatever works. How do you see this fight going?
Oh, this is a rough one because I really like Jeff Neal, but I think Pratis gives him some problems. Gives him some real problems with the kicks. Neal doesn't handle guys that are kicking his legs real well. He doesn't counter him. He doesn't block him real well. And so I think the kicks are going to add up in taking a little bit of the power of Jeff Neal. So the longer the fight goes, the more I think it goes towards Pratis. The earlier, the more I go with Jeff Neal with the big shot.
Yeah, Jeff Neal right now is a plus 195, and you got Carlos Pratis at a minus 235.
Yeah.
I could see that.
About right.
I can see that. You know, and you're taking the older fighter, a little bit older fight. I don't know how old Protz is.
Protz is 31.
Yeah, okay. And then you've got Jared Cannonier versus MVP, which you love this fight.
I do love this fight, but I love this fight based upon things that I've heard.
Okay, tell me.
I know Jared Cannonier believes he's just going to run through him, and that's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. I like Jared Cannonier. He's a great person. I did his first fight in the UFC when he's a heavyweight, and he looks fantastic as, a middleweight, especially as a 40-year-old middleweight. But 40 years old, you're starting to slow down. And there's one thing you don't want to do, it's slow down against MVP. He is one of the, just take a look at, Ian Machado Gary is a perfect example. He fought MVP saying, I'll stay on the feet the whole time. And what did he do?
Mm-hmm.
He became a wrestler real quick when he realized, he's way faster and covers distance a whole lot faster than I realized. Look at what happened with, Shara Magomedov, undefeated fighter, all with great stand-up, doing all kinds of great things, spinning elbow attacks and things like that. He ended up, I can't find him. And that's a problem. That's going to be a serious problem. The one thing I'll give Jared, he's always in shape. So he has the ability, if he's smart, and I'm sure he's going to be smart because his coaches are outstanding. John Crouch, he's got Benson Henderson. They're going to be telling him it's time to become a wrestler, and you want to take him down. And if he does that, Cannonier has a chance of winning the fight. If he stays on the feet, Cannonier is going to get beat.
Jared Cannonier has deceptively long arms. And so I think he'll be able to touch him a little bit at range if he's able to get within that kicking range. He's got to get inside the kicking range just enough to be able to touch him. MVP has slowed down a little bit as well. He's definitely not as slow as Cannonier. And I'm not saying that Cannonier's slow. I'm just simply saying he's still fast as fuck for 40-something years old. He's a lot faster than my ass, I'll tell you that. But MVP is another level of speed. Yeah. The movement, all those things causes problems. But I will say this. If Jared is able to press him to the fence,
that's what he needs to do.
I think Jared will be able to possibly knock him out, because MVP, as you get older and you rely on your speed, just very much like a Roy Jones Jr. Once he was able to be touched, the chin wasn't there. Yeah. So I get concerned with MVP at any moment, because you go back and you take a look at when he fought Douglas Lima. He just got clipped perfectly at the right time. And it wasn't a super hard shot. It caught him right on the button.
Yeah, it caught him right.
Right on the button. I think, in Lima has power. But in this situation, like, Jared Cannonier's got power.
Oh, yeah.
So if he can get him pressed in that fence, land a couple hard shots, if he can do something along those lines, I could see him winning this fight.
Jared becomes a wrestler. Yep. Jared can win the fight.
Yep, I agree. Tim Elliott versus Kai Sakura, another great fight. This card's stacked. It's got great name value. There's some interesting matchups. Everyone likes to root against Tim Elliott, not root against him, but count him out.
All the time.
Yeah,
all the time. He's similar to DDP in that he's awkward, and he'll go into all kinds. He'll take a karate stance. He'll do all kinds of spinning things. He'll go to the ground. Tim Elliott can fight anywhere. He's fun. His problem with Asakura is Asakura's going to be fast. Now, it's not that Tim doesn't have speed, but he doesn't have the speed of Asakura. Yeah. Asakura's stand-up is outstanding, and he hits hard. And Tim needs to get this fight to the ground for him to be successful. He can be in the stand-up for a little while with Asakura, but if he tries to, stay on his feet without getting the takedown, even like you would say, he's just got to make him understand, I will take you down. Shoot the takedown, even if you don't get it. Shoot it again if you don't get it. Fine, but make him have to at least deal with the fact that you're looking for it. Mm-hmm. And so, I look at this as, if this fight stays on the feet, Asakura is going to win the fight. If it goes to the ground, Tim Elliott's got a good chance of beating him.
Yeah. I think Tim Elliott's got to fight it very much like how Usyk fought it with the guy
in his last fight.
Yeah, Ode Osborne.
Yeah,
he has to fight him that way. He's got to get to the wrestling early to make Kai Sakura hesitant on the feet. Yeah. You get to the wrestling early, you take out that whole chance and opportunity of you getting knocked out. So if you start wrestling early, start touching them a little bit, and then that wrestling early will open up your striking on the feet, and that'll keep Kai Sakura.
It'll slow his down.
Yeah. And Kai coming off the loss, and hadn't lost in a while. Coming off the loss in the UFC, like, okay, there's more pressure on him. I have to win. I've got to win this fight. If I don't win this fight, then, the UFC is going to start questioning what they're paying me. They're going to start questioning whether they want to keep me. They want to start restructuring my contract. Do I go back to Rising? What do I do? There's a lot of pressure that fighters put on themselves in these situations. I can't afford to lose 2 in a row. So, and Tim Elliott is one of those guys that he can play the spoiler a lot of the time. Like, let's go back and watch the DJ fight. Everyone counted him out. No one thought he was going to have a chance. He fought great in that fight. And he's been around ever since because of those situations where he, like you said, he can fight anywhere. He's a fantastic fighter. He's doing it on the ground. He's crafty on the ground. He's good on the feet. It's good enough to keep Kyle Sakura guessing. But I mean, I am going to go with you on the speed, man. Kyle Sakura, super fast, explosive, crafty on the feet, good takedown defense. He's good at using his lateral movement. So Tim Elliott's got his hands full. Bobby Green versus Diego Ferreira.
Wow, this is the battle. The guys have been there for a while, and like Bobby, I've always loved Bobby. He's a true competitor. He's fun. Diego Ferreira is just tough as hell. And overall in this, I think Bobby's lost a whole lot of speed. He's lost the ability to take a good shot. And in this fight, I think that Diego Ferreira has the absolute advantage, especially if it hits the ground. His jiu-jitsu is outstanding. Bobby can wrestle, but he tends to give up his back quickly and trying to get himself back to his feet. So I look at this, and I think Diego is the guy that you got to look at.
Yeah, I hate to go against Bobby because, Bobby and I fought. Good dude. Yeah. We had him on the podcast.
Yeah, I love Bobby.
Yeah, we all love Bobby. I would agree with you. Like, because if you take what has happened in the last, say, 4 fights for each fighter, Bobby's been more active, but also taken a lot of damage in those last 4 fights. Whereas Diego not taking as much damage and is not as active. So he's really just spending time training, getting in there working. And then, his body's been able to have an opportunity to heal, and recover and get back into fight shape and do those things. Bobby seems like he never takes time off. He's fucking fighting all the time. And in the last year, I mean, he's taken some bad losses. So that's what concerns me about that fight. But I think Diego probably gets it done. Jared Morshart versus Mikhail. How do you say his name?
Olachuk.
Yeah.
Olachuk. I go Olachuk. Man, this is one of those you look and it's if Gerard's able to get him down to the ground, he's got a very good chance of winning this fight. His submission game is outstanding, but he's going to be in for it on the feet. If there's one thing Mikhail Olachuk has, the kid can hit. He's tough. He slings a lot of shots at you. He doesn't just throw ones. Gerard's stand-up has gotten better, but it's not good enough to stay with him in this fight. So I look at it, and this is one of those ones, all it takes is one takedown. And, we saw it was against Kevin Holland. Olachuk wouldn't give up. Finally they stopped the fight when he made a sound because his arm was getting tore apart. But he's not going to give up. And so Gerard's going to have to use that great submission game, and he's going to have to go all the way to saying, I'll break it to get it, or to go with the choke. Because the one thing we've seen is his opponent is not going to just tap. So
yeah,
the real difference here is the age, and it's a concern. But the skill level of the ground for Gerard against the skill level of the stand-up for Olachuk.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good fight. You have basically like a UFC 1 style fight. Good grappler slash versus, a good striker, and one has the stark advantage in both sides. So one has good grappling, one has good striking. So should be a good fight. I think someone's going to get finished, either knocked out or someone's going to get submitted. Jeff Andrade versus Lupe Godinez.
This is a really good competition right here. I like this one. It's in I believe this one's in the strawweight, not the flyweight, right?
Strawweight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you're looking, you say this is the weight class that I think Jessica should be fighting based upon just her stature and everything. But Lupita she's good in the stand-up, and she'll sling leather with anyone. So it makes for a really fun fight. I don't know who's going to win it. either one could. I would say that Lupita is the younger fighter and the less mileage on her as far as the fight game. So if she can stay with Jessica for the first round, I think things will start to look better for her. But Jessica can she's got the power to hurt people in the strawweight division.
Yeah, Jessica also hasn't looked great her last couple fights.
No, she hasn't.
So when you're coming off losses, it's difficult to build that confidence back up. She's got to get a win so she can start working her way back up. But I think Godinez is probably going to end up taking this one, though. She's going to go ahead and slug it out a little bit. I think she's going to be able to kind of grind on her a little bit. And how does the weight cut actually affect Jessica Andrade? That we're going to find that out. My dog walk pick of the week, because I saw some people asking, is I'm going to go with Chase Hooper over Hernandez. That's going to be my dog walk pick of the week.
And why is that?
I just think he's a man now. And I think that Hernandez is, sure, I think he's good. Hernandez got more power on the feet. He's a better striker than Hooper, but I think Chase Hooper has found his way. I think his length, his reach is going to be able to get this fight to the ground. And I don't think that Hernandez wants to be on the ground at all. And also, Hernandez tends to slow down as the fight goes on, makes him easier to touch, makes him easier to grab a hold of.
True.
And I think once this fight does hit the ground, I think Chase Hooper physically has gotten a lot stronger and is, I think, right now probably the better fighter. So my dog walk pick of the week is going to be Chase Hooper over Alexander Hernandez.
I don't blame you for that one, because I think his stand-up's gotten way better too.
Yeah.
And so he's looking good with his stand-up. His ground game is better than Hernandez's. It's just way better. You can go back and look at some of the fights where Hernandez has had problems on the ground. If someone's able to control him, he starts to get tired because he pushes. He uses a lot of power in trying to get out. That's not something you should do with Chase Hooper. He is a technician on the ground, so I agree with you.
Yeah. I think my gladiator fight of the week is going to be this fight here. Edson Barboza versus Drakkar Klose. I think this fight, someone's getting knocked the out. It's going to be a great fight. I don't see this fight getting past like the second round.
It's a good possibility. This is now Edson going back up to lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
So, Drakkar's got power and he's proved it in a number of fights. But he's been touched and hurt, and so Edson's always going to have that ability to, his stand-up has been some of the best stand-up you've seen in the UFC over the years and what he's been able to do. He's fought everybody. You talk about a guy that's fought, the best of the best throughout his career. Edson Barboza has been there. The level of competition that he's faced, you got to say, is better. But I don't know that again, the mileage on him compared to what Drakkar Klose has taken. Drakkar's tough, and he's got power in his hands. I'm gonna have to go with Drakkar in this one.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oof. I'm not picking one, but I think someone's getting knocked out.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna lean that way. I'm gonna push on this.
Push on. Okay.
Then you've got Brian Battle versus Ruzbalev.
Dude, what do you think of this one? I think this is a great fight because Ruzbalev has got a ton of experience, ton of fights. He's got over 40 fights in his career, and Battle's still fairly young, but man, he's been on fire and he's looked good against good competition.
Why is he not getting more of a push?
I'm not sure.
Fire on the mic. Oh, these Paris
dude. I know, man. He just says what he wants. Says what he wants. I love it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
So, he apparently doesn't have Dana White privilege.
That might be, but I look at this is a good fight for him.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at, Ruzbalev has had, good competitions, guys like Joaquin Buckley and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brian Battle is just the better fighter overall. He's just meaner and tougher.
Yeah, it's almost like he's just fighting like he doesn't care. He's just I'm just going to throw caution to the wind. I'm going to take this fight everywhere. And I feel like when he's the bully out there, man, even when he's not the bully, he still makes it a great fight.
Yep.
And he makes it competitive all the way around. I think he can just take the fight anywhere. He's not the most prettiest fighter when it comes to his looks. That's one. But he's also not one of the most prettiest fighters when it comes to his style. He's not fantastic on the feet. He's not great on the ground, but he's great. He's good everywhere.
Yep.
He's a true MMA athlete. Like I love
his toughness of I'll take two, I'll take three to give you one because I know my one's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
He's got that attitude, man. I tell you what, it works for him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the betting odds have him favored as well at -170, and then you got Ruzbalev at +142.
Okay.
So big stuff there.
All
Hey,
right.
that's gonna wrap up our UFC talk. And but man, it's gonna be a great card. Make sure you guys tune in.
Fantastic.
Dave, what else you got for us, buddy?
Do you guys want to skim this PFL card real quick? It's got
let's go.
Alfie Davis and Godse Rabadanov on the main event.
Absolutely. Look, John Alfie Davis versus Gadzi Rabadanov. Great fight. Gadzi obviously won the tournament last year for the PFL. He's in the finals. This is the finals of the lightweight tournament.
Yep.
He's fighting Alfie Davis. I'm
The Axeman.
Yeah, I've got to go with Rabadanov, and
So do
not
I.
because he trains with Team Habib, and I know you guys are all going to say I'm biased. His boxing is phenomenal. His ability to wrestle is phenomenal. He can stand with Alfie Davis, and he can go ahead and he can also take him down.
Yeah.
You can be able to mix it up. Size is always going to be an issue though, because like Alfie Davis is a pretty thick size. You know, he's kind of a little bit taller than me, but Gadzi's a tiny guy. He's
Yeah.
not a big guy, but man, he possesses power. He's got a great left hook, big right hand. He's just got power.
Godzi's come into his own. Godzi is now fighting at a level. Look, he can fight with anybody. And I love Alfie Davis. He's a good fighter. He's got great kicks. He's got a beautiful axe kick, and that's what he's nicknamed after. But he does tend to slow down in fights also. This will be a 5-round fight for the championship.
Yeah.
And Godzi is his wrestling is better. His stand-up is damn good, and he does have power, and he doesn't get tired. He just keeps coming. So,
And he's fast. That's the other thing. He's extremely fast. I think he's going to be, even though Alfie is known for having speed,
Yeah, he's got speed.
Godzi, I think, is the faster fighter.
Yep.
What other fights on there, Dave? Scroll. I don't have the card in front of me.
Scroll.
Co-main is Jenna Bishop and Liz Kamish.
Oof.
Oh man, this is one. Yeah, they trained together for a long time down in San Diego. They've been around each other a lot. This is one of those ones where you look and it's just Jenna Bishop on the ground is outstanding, but Liz is very comfortable there now too, and the stand up is going to be where this is a big difference. Liz has got a lot more power and a lot more snap on her stand up than Jenna, and I think Jenna's going to have a hard time taking Liz down. But Jenna, if the fight hits the ground, she can beat anybody. She's that good on the ground. She's not going to have her way with Liz, but she can work her way slowly into getting Liz into making a mistake. But overall, I got to give it to the Gorilla. I got to go and say Liz Carmouche is going to take this.
Yeah, you got to go with the person who's got a lot more experience in the situation. I think Liz can also stuff Jenna Bishop's takedowns.
Yep.
Make on the feet that Liz has got the advantage.
Yep, I agree.
Justin Wetzlow versus how do you say this guy's name? Marceli Alves. Marceli.
Look at Marceli Alves came in and he put a whooping on Leandro Higo, and he looked great doing it. And he's second fight did the same thing. So I'm looking towards this is one of those ones. Wetzel is good. He's a good fighter. But I think Alves is coming into his own, and I think in the stand-up he's got the advantage. So,
yeah. You got Mads Burnell versus Robert Watley.
This is one of those ones. Watley's going to want to keep this on the feet. Mads, being the person he is, I'll stay on the feet with you when he should go to the ground. Mads has got that. He's got the Joe Frazier style of the stand-up. He comes walking in, but he throws good body shots. He is tough as hell. This Watley is more dangerous in the stand-up as far as flashier and everything, but I got to give the edge to Mads Burnell. I'm probably doing it based upon I see him all the time and I talk to him and really like Mads, but he does have a fantastic ground game when he uses it.
He's got a great Japanese necktie. He actually taught me how to regrip my Japanese necktie. I use that now. I teach it to everybody that I work with and grapple with.
So you're giving away his secrets.
Just a little.
Just
the way you grip it. That's all. Juliana Velasquez versus, how do you say this girl's name? Ekaterina versus
Ekaterina Shakalova.
Yeah, I got the Shakalova part.
Shakalova. Shakalova is good. She got a judo background, and she got a really good ground game, heavy hips when she's on top of people. Juliana in the striking is better, and she has a distinct advantage in the length and being a longer reach and everything, I believe. Both of them come from a judo background, so I do think that Juliana in the stand-up is better, and I do think that Shakalova on the ground is dangerous because she'll go for the submissions and stuff. She wants to get, ground and pound and work towards things. So if it's in a stand-up fight, I think Juliana is the better fighter. If it goes to the ground, Shakalova's got a chance of winning it.
Interesting. Then the last one we'll talk about on this is Biagio Walsh versus Adrian Grundy. Biagio coming off of his first loss in his pro career, correct?
Yeah. Coming off that loss, we're going to see what that does to him.
Yeah.
He lost that fight, he shouldn't have, as far as the way the fight was going and how he was doing things, but he ended up making a mistake and getting caught in triangle. And you make the mistakes. The MMA is unforgiving. That's the one thing we always talk about is, hey, you don't have to be the best athlete. Hey, you don't have to be the fastest fighter. Hey, you don't have to have, all these things. You just have to be good enough to catch people when they make the mistake, and you'll get the win. And that's what happened in that fight he had against Gibbs.
Yeah, you guys got to remember, man, everything John just said, I'm actually living proof of that. I was not the best at anything. So, Dave, what else you got for us, buddy?
Yep, let's hit these super chats before we wrap this thing up. Okay. So, first one here from Nazir Hajir. Look at me, I'm the captain now. We won.
Look at me.
Look at me.
Alejandro Gutierrez. John, thoughts on DC wanting to ban the Rampage Slam because it's a direct hit to the back of the head, since shots to the back of the head are illegal? ?
Well, that's good for DC, but it comes down to that's a power bomb and that's a legal throw.
The reason why go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay.
I feel like the reason why it's legal is, look, the guy had an opportunity to let go of the choke.
So that's the whole point of this whole thing, is even in that situation, that man is in control of the position, no matter what anyone wants to say. When you have the triangle, you are the one that's controlling the position. You can let go. We'll say in the back, hey, you know what? You get in that position. If you want to go for that e-ticket ride, because Disneyland used to have these tickets, and the e-ticket was like the Matterhorn. That's really old, but you're the one that is making the choice. He made the choice. It was a stupid choice, and he paid for it. And so why are you sitting there saying that as a fighter that I can't, even in grappling, you can look at grappling competitions, you're allowed to slam your opponent out of a submission. Okay, not all, but there are ones out there. And now you're going to say you're not going to allow it in MMA? Bullshit. Quit being a fucking putz.
Yeah, you have the opportunity to let it go. That's what it comes down to.
Welcome, Joe Martinez, to be a member. Alejandro Gutierrez. Oops, it's freaking scrolling weird. Hold on a second. Asks, Dana said he was going to still do 4 pay-per-views, keeping that door open. Ariel, Brendan are simply stirring the pot. The question is, will ticket prices go down?
Ticket prices for what?
Prices? No.
Fuck no.
Ticket prices are not going to go down.
If anything, they're going to go up.
Hello.
Yeah, if anything, they're going to go up.
All right. Zeke asks, okay, Josh, you know what time it is? I need your dog walk pick for this weekend.
I gave it to you, buddy. I just gave it to you.
Cooper.
Yeah, this is from earlier, so some of these are gonna. Maybe...
I saw that that's why I gave it, because I saw him asking for it.
Alejandro Gutierrez, who is a better grappler, Khabib, Islam, or Chimaev?
Well, I've never grappled with Chimaev. Grappling, if you're talking submission wise, I'm gonna go Islam. If you're talking like who's the best control and position, and I'm gonna go Khabib. But like I said, I've never trained with Chimaev, so I can't tell you. I think Chimaev's fantastic on the ground.
Sample size.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have a bigger sample size. Again, Khabib dominated more people on the ground than anybody there's been. More 10-8 rounds, more just overall domination of really good fighters. Khamzat is there. He's getting there. But if you're going to say, the most dominant grappler, it's Khabib.
Let me ask you this. That second round with Conor, was that a 10-7 round?
Oh, damn. No. 10-7?
No? Okay.
No.
Yeah. No, 10-8 though?
Could have been 10-8. Yeah, it was definitely not 10-7.
Okay.
The one Connor went down.
Yeah,
off the
yeah, he
punch?
went down and they just basically just covered up for the rest of the round.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just
10
business. It's
10-8 round. Just business.
Adam talking just business
Yeah.
at the end. What else you got, Dave?
All right, Alejandro Gutierrez, 2 subs if Josh picks how the co-main and main end.
Oh, geez.
2 more subs.
2 more subs. 2 more subs. How they end. Oh, man.
Well, I'm really interested now how you're going to pick your DDP pick. Now,
I know.
how it's going to end.
I know.
Decision.
I'm gonna say I'm honestly gonna say probably DDP by submission, or sorry, not submission, but by decision. And then I'm gonna say Aaron Pico by finish. Whether it's ground and pound or something, I think he's gonna finish him.
What round?
It's gonna be later.
Put it on you.
Probably like round 4, maybe round 5, but I think round 4. It just his work ethic or he's got a fucking motor, man. He's gonna what you saw from Habib, like he's gonna do that with the ground, like the ground and pound. He's gotten so good at controlling that top position, kicking him back. He's got deceptively long arms. He has that.
Here's the difference. I've seen Laron Murphy get tired in a fight. Never seen Aaron Pico get tired in a fight.
Wait, is it 5 rounds?
I thought it was 5 rounds.
5 rounds. It is 5 rounds.
Okay.
They said it was 5.
Is it? Do you find it?
I'm trying to find it right now.
Yeah, can you confirm that? Because if it's going to be a 3-round fight, then I'm just going to say decision. But if it's going to be a 5-round fight, I think that LeBron's going to get tired of having to circle, stay away. Like he's going to either run too much.
It'll be a 5-round fight, yeah.
Yeah, he's either going to run too much and start to slow downs in round 3, 4, and 5. Like Corey Sandhagen was talking about when he fought Umar, or he's gonna, he's just gonna, or Aaron's just gonna be able to keep pushing and grinding on him, man. Even if he doesn't get tired, he's gonna have to keep trying to get up, and then it starts to break on you. So
Alejandro has paid up already. Good job,
my man Alejandro. Appreciate it, man. Nothing but love.
Dan Dave asks, how will UFC foregoing pay-per-view affect boxing? We covered a ton of this, but just that question's fairly new.
Wait, how would that affect boxing?
Yeah.
Look, I think this is the segue for them in their version of what boxing's going to be. So I think a lot of the boxing promoters are going to start to try to maybe push and get away from the pay-per-view model. And the promoters are not going to want to because that's how they make their money. But they're going to try to start doing what the UFC just did. Try to go to like a Netflix. Try to go and collect money from them for their one-off. Netflix had said, we want big fights like the Jake Paul and Nate or whatever it was that was on there.
Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
They want fights like that. They want to have the one-offs with the big event where everyone comes there and floods their market, and then they subscribe and they get their membership, or everyone that already has a membership gets that. That's what they want, and so I could see boxing starting to go that way. If you have whatever fight, if you have Canelo versus Bud Crawford, I know that's already been, locked in, but I'm saying like if you have those type of fights, Netflix would probably be willing to take a promoter and say, hey, I'll pay you this much money for that fight. Let's make it happen. That's how I think it'll affect boxing.
I remember Trevon Logan says it's 3, it's not 5. However, I put it in Google and it says, I'm reading something that says it's a 5-round co-main. Okay. So I don't know. None of the headlines really otherwise specify it.
Yeah.
So we could do some more digging and clarify later in the week if we do anything else. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, I'm reading.
Just 5. To be honest, I've heard that if Aaron looks good, that I'm not to be surprised if he gets an automatic title shot. So there's a lot of pressure, and I think that for them, like to get that 5 rounds in the books, and I know Aaron would rather fight 5 rounds because he knows he's probably the cardio king right now in this, in terms of he understands how good his cardio is. So that being said, I could see all that happening. What else you got?
All right, next one here. Alejandro Gutierrez, Josh John. Who wins if Asakura versus Taira in Japan?
It's a good fight. I'd go with Taira. I think Taira is he's more well-rounded than Asakura. Asakura is good. In the stand-up, he's outstanding, but his ground game is not real good. He's always just trying to get back to his feet, which I don't blame him since the stand-up is so good. But Tyra is able to control people. His stand-up is good. And I believe on the ground, he would be able to submit Asakura. So I would go with Tyra.
Did they not fight?
I don't think they did.
I thought they did. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think so.
No, I think you're right. No, they didn't. I thought they did, but
be a good fight though.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe you'll see them fight.
Yeah,
You know, if there's a fight in Japan, I mean, that they'd be stupid not to put that fight together. Yeah, they'd be stupid not to make that fight.
Zeke662. Now that pay-per-view is going away, do you think fighters will get sponsor money? Question mark. If not, what championship fighters will get? Question mark. I think it's meant to say what will they get.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
First off, like
you got here late.
Yeah, pay-per-view is not going away. There still will be pay-per-view. Second off, sponsorship money is going to be sponsorship money that they get on the outside. They're not going to be able to wear their sponsor into the cage or anything. That the UFC has absolutely taken all of that away. They have the people that are sponsoring the UFC get to have their stuff worn by the fighters. That's not going to change. And trust me, the fighter's going to get compensated for the fights. This is not one of those ones. I like how everyone thinks that, the fighters aren't going to make any more money. Yes, they will.
You know what's crazy though is, have you seen the fucking cage now? Do you remember the argument for fighters?
Oh my God.
Argument on fighters walk into the cage with all the sponsors. They look like NASCAR drivers. That's not what we're doing here. Have you seen the fucking UFC cage now?
What are you talking about? They have individuals' names in there so they can cut it out.
NASCAR fucking driver.
Dude, hold on. And it's not just on the canvas. It's all on the rails. It's multiples, even on the outside now.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's
if
wild,
you can sell it, do it.
What's crazy is that they sold that bullshit to the fucking fighters, and the fighters fucking believed, okay, look, I'm doing it for the sport. Then they turned around and made the fucking cage look like a NASCAR fucking. It's ridiculous.
I don't know. NASCARs are kind of nice.
Yeah. They look like a NASCAR driver though, John.
Yeah, that's true. Did you see that NASCAR driver take the fall?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Did he tear his knee out? Jesus.
I don't know what he did, but he definitely knocked himself out.
Yeah, derp. Like, yeah, it was wild. Like, dude, can't you just get out of the damn car,
win a race, show all that skill, and then can't even get the fuck stand on the car?
They're trying to tell us Formula One racers or NASCAR drivers are fucking athletes. Shut up. I couldn't even get out of the car.
No.
But they are actually athletes.
They are, dude.
Yeah,
they are.
They are. That was a little dig, but it was meant to be in fun and good heart.
Do you know that F1 racers have some of the fastest reflexes of any athletes they test?
You should.
Yeah. You gotta make quick decisions.
Yeah. How fast are you going? 280 miles an hour around fucking quick turn.
Not 280, but whatever. We'll say 200.
Okay, it's close.
That's fast.
But yeah, it's within like a quarter mile. They're getting 200 and they're slowing down. Back up to like 160, then slowing down. Back up to 110, slowing down. Then 200. Like
a lot of G-force.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah,
you got to think quick. Hey guys, I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in and joining the show tonight. Hopefully you guys got all the stuff you guys needed. We're gonna probably revisit this in the weeks to come with the TV deal happening with Paramount and CBS. As more stuff comes to the forefront, we're obviously going to talk about this a lot coming forward and find out where Dana White Contender Series ends up, find out where Slap ends up, find out where Tough ends up, find out if they all fall into the same platform. We're going to find this out as we go along, and we're going to go ahead and give you our 2 cents on it. In no way was I trying to take a dig at Ariel Helwani. Just in that moment, it felt like a fear-mongering situation. Brendan Schaub is my boy, man. I actually agreed with some of what he said, but I also think there's another way to present that as well. So good on them. I think good for both of those guys. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this show. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. John, take us away.
Hey, for everyone out there, thank you again for tuning in. Thanks for all the questions, and we will see you.